So I've struggled with anxiety my whole life, and I I remember my parents forced me into therapy. Not forced, but my parents, I was a very shy kid. I was very quiet and like reserved kid, and like my parents. There is a part of me that feels very resentful towards them. Looking back, of being like, I feel like they could have put in more effort, but I understand why they sent me into therapy. But like I was in like I believe I was entering sixth grade. And my parents were just they kind of just threw me into therapy and were just like, fix this, fix him, please fix him. Um, it only made things worse. It only made things worse. Because I never understood. I didn't understand as a kid of what anxiety was. I didn't know what it was like to have. I didn't understand what anxiety was. Um, I was always just so nervous. I was always so nervous all the time, and I didn't understand why. I was always just like, why am I not like everyone else? Why am I not normal? Why can't I just be like everyone else? Um, it was just such an isolating feeling of like feeling different and not knowing why, just feeling like there was something wrong with me. Um, and so like I was like it caused a lot of self-esteem issues. Um, and like I remember like feeling like the therapy just made me feel even more isolated, and I do have a lot of like negative. I think I look at therapy very like negatively, even though like I said in my New Year's video like I want to start going to therapy again, but like it's I have like this negative perception of therapy because of that experience of because my parents kind of forced me into therapy. Um, it kind of just I look at it like it's something to be ashamed of. It's something to like I look at therapy as like a I look at therapy as like I'm like, well, I tried everything else, but like I guess I'll go to therapy, but like therapy is nothing to be ashamed of. I'm learning I'm learning that therapy is like healthy, and it's something, if you can afford it, I think everyone should go to therapy. But like at the time I was like no one in that I knew that was my age like went to therapy. Like again, I didn't know what mental health was. I didn't know what anxiety was. Um, and it only got worse from there. It only got worse as the older I got. It was just like, because kids are assholes. Teenagers are assholes. Um, uh, but I remember just always feeling, just never understanding why. Like, what? Like, I was always told, Ethan, you have anxiety. And I was like, what does that mean? Why am I nervous all the time? Like, what does anxiety even mean? Because that was my dog. I was always just like, because I was always just what? Like, because anxiety runs in my family, and it was always just like, it was just one of those things where it was like, we all struggle with it, and it was like, but what is it? Nobody ever told me like, what is it? Why am I so nervous all the time? Like, why do I feel this way? And no one ever told me. No one ever told me like, no one ever gave me an answer. I was always just told like, you're just special. You're just special, Ethan. You're just a special person. And man, that made me feel even worse. That made me feel so awful, so isolated, so alienated. And I'm sure it was done with the best of intentions, but like it made me feel so like different. That was the thing. I just didn't want to feel different because as a kid, I just wanted to fit in. I just wanted to feel like I belonged somewhere. But I didn't. I just felt so alienated and isolated because I had this thing that was like, it's called anxiety, but I don't know what it is. I don't know what it means. And I'm so nervous all the time. I'm so like, I'm blushing all the time. And it's like, why? No, and no one ever told me. No one ever told me. Everyone, like, no one around me ever, like, told me, like, what was. It was always just like. I don't know. It's still. um, as I've become an adult, and I still don't have all the answers because I'm not a professional, and I can only speak from my experiences, but I always was so ashamed of my anxiety. I was always so ashamed of. I became ashamed of myself because I was ashamed of my anxiety. And I hate saying that word, like, my anxiety. Like, because I always used to think my anxiety, like, my anxiety, it's, everybody struggles with anxiety. Everybody gets anxious. Everybody gets nervous. I didn't know that. I was just always so centered around, like, my world and being like, I know, because no one talks about these things. No one talks about, like, mental health. No one talks about, like, because it's like there's this stigma surrounding mental health, which is still a problem to this day. But like, yeah, I just but like I didn't realize that it was like everybody gets stressed, everybody gets nervous, everybody gets like anxious. It's just we don't talk about it. We don't talk about these things. And because of that, because I was like I felt like I was the only one going through this, and I was like I grew I let the anxiety I was feeling, again, I'm not using my anxiety because it's like it doesn't define me. It's just something I struggle with. And like I realized it was like, and I became so ashamed of it. I was like, what is wrong with me? Why am I like this? And I think what's helped me the most, because I always just assumed that the anxiety I was feeling, I thought it was trying to hurt me. I thought like anxiety was always just trying to like, I thought it was trying to like cause me pain, but I've realized as I've gotten older that that anxiety it's trying to keep you safe. It's trying to protect you from the danger. Because I'm not a professional, I'm not like a psychologist, but anxiety can oftentimes stem from trauma. And when you go through these, as a child, when you go through these traumatic experiences, and you feel that just, and it doesn't have to be like I don't take this with a grain of salt. I'm just speaking from my experience and my thought process, but like I realized that was like, when you go through if you go through something traumatic and you feel just like that pain, that hurt, and just like something, and it just like profoundly impacted you, your anxiety, like not your anxiety, but like anxiety. I watched Inside Out 2 recently to like prepare myself for this, and like anxiety says such a beautiful quote in that movie of like, spoilers by the way, Riley says like the main character Riley is like having a panic attack and is just saying like, I'm not good enough, and is like, and like the scene is over, and like anxiety is like, I was only trying to protect her. And that is such a beautiful depiction of anxiety, of like, when you go, if you, again, like, it's different for everyone. I'm not trying to, like, I'm just speaking from my experience, and what's helped me is realizing that, like, your anxiety is just trying to, not your, I'm sorry, I keep saying that, but like, anxiety is oftentimes just trying to protect you from the dangers of this world. I think just where anxiety can be a little bit problematic is like realizing that, like, oftentimes there aren't as many dangers in this world as you think. But again, if you experience like trauma in your life, if you experience like if you experience like abuse or like neglect, or like, like, if you go through anything, and that's not the only cause, of course. I'm not, again, not a professional, but like, I realized I was like, so sorry, I'm going on a tangent. Like, when you go through something traumatic, your anxiety steps in. It is like I'm gonna keep you safe. Don't worry, I'm going to keep you safe, and I'm gonna I'm going to prepare us for every single danger, because anxiety is oftentimes future focused. It's focused on the future of planning for every single terrible thing that can happen. And it's like, I'm not going to let you feel that pain again. I'm going to protect you from the dangers of this world, because it's been proven that, like, that danger, scary. It's scary. So I'm going to protect you. I am going to keep you safe from everything in this world. And that's beautiful. That is a beautiful thing of, like, let's say, like, if you didn't have like that protector in your life, if you didn't have like that, like, safety in your life, your anxiety is like, I have you. I will protect you. No matter what, I will be there for you, and I will keep you safe from any dangers of this world. And that's just what's helped me, I think, in realizing that, like, anxiety does not define you. Because I used to just feel so ashamed of my anxiety. And realizing that anxiety is not trying to hurt you. It's trying to protect you from this danger of the worlds. And I think, obviously, like, therapy is important. Because I think anxiety is important. It's important to, because yes, it does protect you from, like, the dangers of this world. It can protect you. But I think, again, what I said before was, like, not everything is dangerous. Not everything is scary. Or the scary things in this world, quote unquote, the scary things in this world, sometimes that's okay. Because, again, but when you go through, like, when you are just like, again, speaking from experience, anxiety can stem from many different places, I think. But, like, I learned that, like, if you experience, like, trauma in your life, and you, like, that's, like, it's like you see the world from a very different lens, and probably from someone else who maybe didn't have trauma. And so it makes sense. It does make sense. And so I think that's, like, that's helped me, like, have more, like, compassion for myself, of being like, oh, because I still struggle with it. Like, even, like, these past few days, weeks, actually, I've been blushing a lot recently. And that's because I've been having a lot of anxiety. I've been having so much anxiety. Why? I don't know. again, that's the thing. That's where anxiety gets problematic, I think, is like sometimes it's just like sometimes, but again, I think anxiety is oftentimes just like your brain trying to keep you safe because it's been so that yeah, like it's trying to keep you safe because it's like trauma induced, I think. Because it's like that's like what I was taught by like people in my life who also struggle with anxiety was like anxiety is like I was always just assumed that there was something wrong with me because that's kind of how the other people in my life saw it as well. Was like there's something wrong with us. Like there's something wrong with us. And I was like okay, like I wasn't directly told that, but I was like it was kind of made clear like when I was a kid was like there's just something you're just different. You're there's something wrong with us as people. And I was like oh. It's like oh. And I believed that for so many years. And it really fucked up my self-esteem. It really fucked up my self-esteem. And, like, I do want to talk to a therapist in the future. But, man, it's just helped me give... I think I just have a lot more compassion for myself of being like, there's not anything wrong with me. I'm not, like, yeah, I have anxiety, but, like, it's because I have trauma. I got trauma. And like my anxiety's just trying to be like, hey dude, just trying to keep you safe. I'm just trying to like keep you safe from danger. And so yeah, that's just how it's helped me like see it in a more positive light. Instead of being like, oh, what is wrong with me? What is wrong with me? No. It's yeah, it's still a work in progress, but that's my progress so far is realizing that like a lot of the adults in my life growing up, they were always like, what the it's like I know no one's perfect and they're just adults. When you're a kid, you see it, you think adults are just have it all figured out and they just are perfect in every single way. But as I become an adult, I realize nobody has it figured out. Nobody knows what they're doing. You just kind of like throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. But I yeah, but like a lot of the adults in my life growing up were like, they made me feel a lot worse about myself. Probably unintentionally, but they made me feel like garbage. I'm joking about it now, but it's actually something I should probably talk to a therapist about because, like, yeah. But we won't get into that. But yeah, anxiety. I get overwhelmed so easily. My anxiety gets in front of me. I don't know this. But yeah, everybody struggles with anxiety at some point. But I think it's just important, again. 2025 is the year of self-compassion, baby. All right, bye-bye.